Chapter 5. What is the duration of the NPRC? This chapter addresses two important issues relating to time: the duration of the NPRC and the time under which the NPRC will exercise its mandates. These two should not be confused. 5.1. Duration of the NPRC mandate. The Constitution specifies in Section 251 that the duration of the NPRC shall be for a period of 10 years after the effective date. There has been some debate regarding what this provision means. Some people argue that the effective date should be understood in a narrow sense to mean the day immediately after the day on which former President Robert Mugabe signed the Constitution into the law on the 22nd of May 2018. However, others have argued that the use of the phrase after the effective date means that the NPRC can start the work any day after 22 May 2013, but only after it has fully made capable of functioning through the Act of Parliament and the commissioners have been appointed and are ready to begin work. 5.2. Period to be investigated. The Constitution does not specify the time period to be covered by the NPRC. In other countries, the law mentions the specific time period, which is called the cut-off date, to be covered by such a commission. For example, in Mauritius, the commission investigated violences from 1638 to 2008, that is 370 years. South Africa, 1960 to 1994, and Kenya, 1963 to 2008. These dates indicate special periods in a country's political history. This kind of specific time regulation has advantages as well as disadvantages. The table below highlights some of the advantages and disadvantages of having fixed dates for carrying out investigations. Table 5. Advantages of specifying the period of investigations. 1. The NPRC is clear on what it is to investigate. The disadvantage: this can be deemed to be targeting certain persons, hence creating potential resistance. Advantage: the NPRC will be efficient as no time is wasted looking into this issue. Disadvantage: many times the cutoff date is hardly agreed by all actors. Advantage: a cutoff date is partly an acknowledgement of human rights violations. A disadvantage: there is a danger of some victims being left out if they fall outside the cutoff date. Advantage: it is easier for the NPRC to design a work plan with specific dates. Disadvantage: the cutoff date can affect comprehensiveness of the NPRC work. The lack of a specific time frame in the Constitution and the NPRC Act leaves the NPRC with some flexibility on how to approach this issue. Uruguay's Commission for Peace. Uruguay's Commission for Peace was established by President Jorge Batlle in 2000 to investigate the fate of the disappeared during the military regime from 1973 to 1985. This was in accordance with the 1986 amnesty law, which required the government to investigate the fate of the estimated 200 disappearances. The commission operated for only 2 years. The reason why the commission was able to do its work in only 2 years is because it was a successor to previous commissions of inquiry. Secondly, it was tasked with investigating a specific issue, disappearances of 200 people between 1973 and 1985. Zimbabwe's NPRC has a much broader mandate and no specific focus. Hence, a period of 10 years is not a lot of time. Summary box. The NPRC has a duration of 10 years. There is no agreement on the date to start counting the 10-year period. The Constitution does not specify the time the NPRC should exercise its mandate.